multi-part series, who knows how long it's going to go, of getting the OM642 engine rebuilt. So I know at the end of part 7 I told you this time we were going to do the timing chain to get the heads on. Turns out getting the heads on, there was a lot more work involved, and a lot more video, and this was turning into a very, very long, epic adventure, which it's assembling an engine, so it's not really that interesting. So I'm going to punt the whole timing chain stuff to part 9. For part 8, we're going to go ahead and focus on getting the heads installed, getting the valve train in, and getting the exhaust manifolds attached to the heads. Perhaps not necessarily in that order. So without further ado, here we go. We'll get into part 8.
We have the oil cooler. So we're going to go ahead and put that on. We've got good, easy access to it right now. I've got the new seals installed. You can see they're right there. Make sure you're getting the purple seals. Make sure they're in there, nice and secure. Get it all cleaned off. No oil, grease, anything on it. Both sides, of course. Drop it in. And you're going to use new bolts for this. Now, there does not appear to be a torque sequence for this. And what we're looking for is to take this to 12 Newton meters, which is about 106 inch-pounds.
You do want to be sure that you're using the new versions of those seals, the purple VIII seals. Before, I think about 2010, 2011, something like that, on the OM642, they used a different type of seal, which I don't even think you can get anymore, but they were very prone to leaks. They pretty much all leaked and had to go through this work. So just make sure you got the new seals so you don't have to do this work ever again. I could have done this after I put the heads on, but I figured, why not? I've got the V exposed. I might as well go ahead, get in there, put the cooler on while I get to it super, super easy. The heads wouldn't really be too much in the way. But anyway, moving on.
So we got our new head gasket. We're going to compare the head gasket instructions here to what they put in WIS as well and make sure that it all works out to be the same. But there are some locating dowels on here. You can see that. A little more light. Okay. And that's going to go on. Now, before we do this, though, let's go in and just kind of make sure we got the cylinders cleaned out. You will notice that these will not go on the wrong way. All right. They are matched side to side. All right. They just, each one will only go on one way on one side. That is the first head gasket on, and I've got the head right here. Mounting dowel positions here. So bring this around. There's the head. There. Now it is located on there. All right, that head is now completely on. Those locating dowels. Now it's just sitting there, just kind of balanced. And it'll be okay, but now we need to put our bolts in. All right, for tightening the cylinder heads, I've got a couple of different pieces of information here. So this is what's coming with head gasket, and they show this tightening sequence. And then this is the tightening sequence that WIS shows. I'm going to work with WIS and go off of that. They're a little bit backwards. So this shows the front of the engine this way. And so in this diagram, really it would be front of the engine that way. So if I use this, it will be correct as I look at it. So I can kind of carry that around. The torque values that are on here are the ones that match with WIS. So it's all good on that one. The new head bolts. First of all, let's appreciate how these things are packaged. That's pretty neat. It's all kind of nice in there. Man, nothing's banging around here. So these are going to be E18 sized. You're going to want to have a 1/2 inch E18 socket. I had some struggles trying to get these out, and because mine was a 3/8 socket. So you want the 1/2 inch. Also, when you go to use your angle gauge, having that plus a socket, it produces a lot of wobble in the whole thing. So if you can take the adaptator off and just go directly like this, and then with your breaker bar here, that's really how it's designed to be used. It's going to work better for you. So trust me, get a 1/2 inch socket. Since these are torque to yield bolts, they want the threads oiled up, and they want the shoulders oiled up as well. So we'll get the threads, and we'll just come up here, whoa, and not drop that and spill it all over the place. Put a little oil up on here. There we go. Now I'm just going to kind of start these a little bit. We're not going to go too hard and heavy with them yet. I just want to get everybody in place and ready to go. Okay, now we're going to tighten them to 10 Newton meters. There's 10 Newton meters. All right, that's the first tightening sequence. The next, we're going to go to 60 Newton meters. And 8. All right, so now it gets really fun. Front of the engine, we start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like a spiral, right? We're just gonna spiral around, okay? Now we're gonna do it in 3 stages. It's gonna go 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So I've got the angle gauge set up again, 0. It's all zeroed out. It's in place where it's not gonna be getting in the way of the actual mating surface or anything like that. Okay, get that all solid, and we're gonna go 90 degrees. There, 90 degrees. All right, now we go back to the beginning. We do another 90 degrees. Hold them 90 degrees 3 times. There are 2 bolts on the front of each head. This is the left head, this is the right head. So the right head, they're right up here, these guys right there. The left head, they're down inside of the timing space here, or one of them is. So we have the longer bolt, which is going to go right here, and then a shorter bolt, and it's going to go down in there, like so. And those get to go to 20 Newton meters each. There does not appear to be a specific order for these, except that these are supposed to be done, I believe, last, after the other head bolts are in. Like so, and like so. And this is the cool part of a project like this. And I didn't show this last time. These are 2 bags of bolts. I get to throw these empty bags away because I don't need them anymore. That's where we are in this project, and that's always, to me, the most exciting part. These go to 177 inch-pounds. Don't do them to 177 Newton meters. You'll break something.
Now we need to go ahead and put the exhaust manifold studs in place so that we can put the exhaust manifolds in place. There's a whole video on how to get the studs out of the head, and that's important, but right now we're focused on putting them back in. 2 nuts go onto the end of the stud, and just tighten them up against each other, and then use your torque wrench against that top nut that you've put on, and that'll drive the stud in, with the nut on the bottom keeping the nut on the top from turning. It'll just turn the whole thing.
Once that's torqued down, all you got to do is take the top nut off, and then the bottom nut will spin off as well. And then you've got your stud installed, and you just need to do it a whole bunch more times for each side. Now that the studs are in the head, we can go ahead and put the exhaust manifold gasket on, which should be pretty simple. Just slide it over and use the tabs to lock it in place. Once the gasket's on, and again, kind of only fits one way, the exhaust manifold itself can be placed over top of the studs and cinched up against the head. Get all the little brackets on that share those bolts, or the studs, I guess. And then we'll use brand new copper pinch nuts to go ahead and torque it down. No specific sequence on this, just torque it down nice and evenly all the way across. Once all those bolts are torqued down, we can go ahead and get the heat shield and put that on. I do like to go through, make sure I hit every one of those a second time, just to make sure that the torque from one didn't twist things and reduce the torque on another. Heat shields just slide right over again, and we'll bolt those back on with the little bolts that came off. Keep in mind, some of these bolts are going to be used to also hold in some brackets and other things on the engine, especially once it goes in, like the fuel line brackets, I believe, on this side may get held in there. So just be aware that when you go to put those back on, you may need to sneak those back into place.
All right, that's going to wrap up getting the heads installed. Next video, we'll go through getting the timing set, getting the oil pump installed, and we're going to be that much closer to being able to start this beast up. So we'll see you next time around.